The Story of Hanukkah by David A. Adler. The Hanukkah story begins in Israel a long time ago, when it was called Judea. At that time, the Jews who lived there were farmers and shepherds. On holidays, they all went to the beautiful temple in Jerusalem. The temple was on top of the mountain and called the House of God. Its gates were covered with gold and silver. Inside was a ner tamid, a light that always burned. For a long time, the Jews lived in peace, although they did not rule their land. Then a Greek, Antiochus, became a king. He tore down the walls of Jerusalem. Thousands were killed. Anyone who lit Sabbath candles, studied Jewish law, or refused to bow to Greek idols was put to death. The king's men came to the town of Modin. They demanded that Mattathias, an old priest, worship one of their gods. Mattathias refused. He threw down the idol and called out, "Whoever is the Lord our God, follow me." Mattathias ran to the hills. His 5 sons and many others, Jews, followed him. Antiochus' army chased after Mattathias, but when the soldiers came near, brave Jews hiding behind large rocks and inside caves attacked. Then they ran back to the hills and hid. Mattathias and his followers were farmers and shepherds, but they fought like trained soldiers. When Mattathias died, his son Judah became their leader. Judah was called the Maccabee, which means the hammer. The people who fought with him were called the Maccabees. The king's army came with bows and arrows, swords, horses, and armored elephants, but they weren't able to beat the Maccabees. In the final battle, there were more than 6 armed soldiers to each Maccabee, but still the mighty army of Antiochus was beaten. Judah led the Maccabees to Jerusalem. The Maccabees cried when they saw the temple ruined and filled with garbage. They cleaned it. They built a new altar, new gates, and a new door. When it came time to light their ner tamid, they found just one small jar of pure oil, only enough to burn for 1 day. But that oil burned for 8 nights until more oil could be prepared. On the 25th day of the Hebrew month of Kislev, the temple again became the house of God. Judah declared that every year on that date, an 8-day holiday would begin. The holiday was called Hanukkah, which means dedication. It celebrates the day the temple was rededicated. That was more than 2,000 years ago. Today, all over the world, Jews celebrate Hanukkah by lighting candles, singing Hanukkah songs, and eating latkes, potato pancakes. and sufganiyot, jelly donuts. Latkes and sufganiyot are prepared in oil and remind Jews of the Hanukkah miracle. In many homes, people exchange Hanukkah gifts. Children also play a game with four-sided spinning top called a dreidel. On each side of the dreidel is a different Hebrew letter. The first letters of the Hebrew sentence, Nes Gadol Haya Sham, which means a great miracle happened here. It happened in Jerusalem. Hanukkah celebrates one of the first fights for religious freedom.